What would you do if you felt a sting on your ankle, looked down, and saw nothing? No sound, no warning, just silence, and a rising heat creeping through your veins. In the vast wilderness of Australia, that question isn't hypothetical. It's happened, more than once, and to some, it didn't end with a rescue. There's one species in particular, number 3 on this list, whose bite left a seasoned bushman paralyzed in under 60 seconds. His story? We'll get to it. But first, you need to understand what you're walking into. This is not the Australia from postcards and wildlife shows. This is something older, something watching. Here, the deadliest snakes on Earth share one thing in common. They don't need to chase you. They just wait. Some kill silently. Others inject venom so fast it outruns your blood. A few are so elusive that even seasoned herpetologists haven't survived the encounter. Each of these snakes leaves more than just bite marks. They leave silence, emptiness, stories whispered by survivors, and unfinished by those who weren't so lucky. You might think you know which one sits at the top. You don't. You almost miss it. A black ribbon coiled beneath a slab of sandstone, motionless, unbothered. It doesn't hiss. It doesn't flee. You think you're lucky, that it's not one of those snakes. But this one doesn't need theatrics. It waits. The small-eyed snake is one of Australia's most easily overlooked killers. Slender, glossy black. Shorter than most of its infamous cousins. It hides in leaf litter, under logs, in gardens where dusk folds into night. Because that's when it begins to move. It's nocturnal, secretive, and unassuming, until it bites. And when it does, the danger doesn't come in a wave. It comes in silence, hours later. Long after you've assumed you're fine, the venom of the small-eyed snake works slow, like rot beneath the floorboards. It contains powerful myotoxins, compounds that destroy muscle tissue from the inside out. Victims often report little pain at first, a prick, maybe. Then, fatigue, a burning in the limbs, and finally, the kidneys begin to shut down. The worst part? It's often misidentified, even by professionals. People brush it off as a harmless tree snake or juvenile black snake. That mistake has cost lives. In 1998, a bushwalker in New South Wales was bitten while clearing debris at his campsite. He didn't seek help, thought it was minor. 12 hours later, he collapsed. By the time he was found, the damage was irreversible. There is anti-venom, but it must be administered early. The longer you wait, the more muscle dies. The more your organs bleed out, the less your body remembers how to function. And because it's small and secretive, it's not often hunted or relocated. It's in your woodpile, in your retaining wall. It doesn't need to travel far. It just needs you to get too close. People ask, why is it only number 10? Because it doesn't always kill. Sometimes, it just leaves you with a lifetime of damage. If you're lucky, it doesn't announce itself like the brown snake or stare you down like a taipan. It simply waits, curled in silence, like a question you didn't realize you'd asked. And if you're bitten, your body becomes the answer. Slowly, painfully, hour by hour. It looks ordinary, brown, slim, fast. It moves like spilled coffee down a countertop. Smooth, sudden, hard to track. You think you saw a stick move, you blink, and it's gone. The western brown snake doesn't wait around to be identified. And that's exactly what makes it dangerous. Nicknamed the guardar, an Aboriginal word loosely meaning go the long way around, the western brown isn't a headline chaser like its eastern cousin. But don't be fooled. This is not some off-brand killer. Its venom is every bit as lethal. In fact, drop for drop, it's arguably more toxic. It doesn't rely on size or brute force. It uses speed. It can deliver multiple rapid strikes in one blur of motion. And unlike some of its relatives, it doesn't always give a warning. No hooding, no hiss, just sudden pain, then nothing. But it's the confusion that kills. You see, the western brown is nearly indistinguishable from several non-venomous snakes. Even professionals second-guess themselves. It's a shapeshifter, sometimes tan, sometimes reddish, sometimes gray. Even its head blends into the body, making it difficult to identify at a glance. And in those crucial first moments after a bite, misidentification can cost lives. The venom attacks your blood, breaking down red cells, disrupting clotting, leading to internal bleeding and renal failure. You may feel okay for a while, and then your body begins to betray itself. It thrives in dry regions, often near farms and mining areas, where food is plentiful and humans leave easy trails. A forgotten boot, a piece of tarp, a shadow beside your tent. The Western brown doesn't need an invitation, just opportunity. There's a documented case of a field worker bitten on the shin. He was calm, thought it was a whip snake, continued his shift. 3 hours later, his body collapsed without warning. He lived, barely, but his blood needed filtering for days. His muscles took months to recover. This snake doesn't chase headlines, and it doesn't pose for photos. It just exists, fast, lethal, and easy to overlook. A phantom in the outback. And by the time you realize what bit you, your blood may already be turning against you. It prefers the cold. While other snakes retreat into torpor when the temperature drops, the copperhead thrives. Mist clings to the grass, dew hangs off rotting logs, and it slithers, quiet, patient, alive. Among Australia's deadliest, it's the one that hunts where most others sleep. You might pass one on a damp bush trail, thinking it's a tangle of root or vine. But then the copper flashes, a dull metallic sheen that gives it its name. Not bright, not showy, just enough to catch your eye before it disappears again into the underbrush. It isn't large, it isn't fast, and it rarely attacks. But provoke it, corner it, step too close, without knowing, and it becomes something else entirely. Its venom is hemotoxic and neurotoxic, a dual assault. First, it destroys muscle and blood tissue. Then it begins shutting down your nerves. Breathing becomes work. Vision blurs. Pain rises through the limbs like fire in a tunnel. And the worst part? You feel it all happening. With clarity. With time. Copperheads are common in the cooler regions of southeastern Australia, Victoria, Tasmania, parts of South Australia. People who live in those areas walk trails and check their sheds with a kind of inherited caution. Because the copperhead doesn't bluff, but it doesn't hesitate either. There was a man, mid-60s, retired, loved to hike alone in the Otways. He carried a walking stick and a snakebite kit. He knew the terrain, knew the rules, and still, he never saw the snake that got him. No one did. He called for help, made it halfway back to the trailhead, then sat down beneath a tree, and never stood again. Anti-venom exists, yes, but distance and time are cruel partners in remote country. Some say the copperhead is the gentleman of venomous snakes, shy, reclusive, not inclined toward conflict. But that's just a comfort we've invented for something we don't understand. Because nature doesn't care about your manners. And in the quiet, fog-draped corners of Australia, the copperhead waits, not with rage, not with fear, but with ancient, indifferent precision. It gives you one warning. If you miss it, it won't give another. It doesn't need to hide. While other snakes master camouflage, the red-bellied black snake announces itself. Bold, polished, dangerous. A glossy black body like oil under moonlight. A crimson belly like a warning written in blood. You see it, and you stop. Instinct tells you it's not just dangerous, it's confident. And confidence in a snake means one thing. It doesn't fear you. This predator haunts swamps, riverbanks, and forests along the eastern coast, where heat and moisture blend into the perfect hunting ground. It's often seen near water, swimming, basking, or just there. No hurry, no threat. Until you give it one. The red-bellied black snake doesn't bluff, but it warns. It flattens its neck, raises its head, holds its ground. If you're smart, you back away. If you're not, you meet the consequences. Its venom is less toxic than others on this list, but make no mistake, a bite from this snake is not a lucky escape. Victims often experience massive local tissue damage, skin that blisters, muscles that decay, flesh that dies. Its venom is cytotoxic, and it doesn't just kill, it maims. Some bites have resulted in permanent nerve damage, amputations, and, in rare cases, death, especially when medical help is delayed. A teenage boy once found one while fishing, poked it with the tip of his rod. One strike to the forearm. He laughed it off like kids do. Hours later, he couldn't hold a pen. A week later, he couldn't hold a fork. The venom had threaded itself deep into his tissue. They saved the limb, not all of it. What makes the red-bellied black snake so dangerous isn't just the venom, it's the accessibility. This snake doesn't live in the middle of the desert or deep in the scrub. It's in backyards. It's under the canoe. It's between your boots and the firewood stack. People grow convinced. Oh, it's just a red-bellied, they say, as if color makes a thing less fatal. This snake doesn't care what you call it. It moves like ink, strikes without noise, vanishes before you remember what direction it came from. Sometimes the ones that show themselves are the ones you should fear the most. It's not a king by name, it's a king by presence. The mulga snake doesn't need to hide in shadow or strike from cover. It moves with the slow, heavy certainty of something that knows it doesn't have to rush. Thick-bodied, meters long, muscles coiled like ancient rope. If a coastal taipan is a scalpel, the mulga is a warhammer. And yet, it's often mistaken for something harmless. It doesn't have the classic warning signs. No dramatic stripes, no blackened scales, no flared hood. Just a broad, heavy snake with earthy brown tones, blending in with the dust and bush scrub of inland Australia. But its bite? That's something else. Most snakes deliver venom in drops. The mulga delivers in buckets. It holds on, chews, pumps. It can inject the highest volume of venom of any Australian snake. And it doesn't just hit your nerves or blood. It floods your body with a devastating mix of cytotoxins and myotoxins. Cells rupture, muscles melt, kidneys seize. Even survivors have described weeks of agony and muscle breakdown so severe they couldn't lift their own arms. A park ranger in the Northern Territory once disturbed one by accident, stepped too close to a hollow log. The snake didn't flee. It surged, bit, hung on. His partner drove 2 hours across rough terrain with him semi-conscious in the back. When they reached help, his urine was the color of rust. His legs didn't work. He was lucky. Most people bitten by a mulga snake don't walk away. They're carried. What makes it more terrifying is its temperament. Unlike many venomous snakes that prefer to escape, the mulga stands its ground. It'll rear up, flare its body. And if you don't back off, it'll come for you, fast and direct. And here's the catch. King Brown is a misleading name. It's not a true brown snake. So, if you're bitten and the wrong antivenom is administered, the clock ticks even faster. It doesn't chase, it doesn't boast, it just waits until you underestimate it. And then it reminds you, kings don't need to be loud to be lethal. It doesn't move, not at first. You're walking through dry leaves or scrubland. Maybe you stop to tie your boot. Maybe you crouch to pick something up. That's all it takes. Beneath your foot, not slithering, not running, lies a coiled paradox, the common death adder. Still, beautiful, almost elegant. And then it strikes. Faster than any other snake in Australia. Possibly the fastest in the world. Blink speed. Less than 0.15 seconds. Before your nervous system even registers movement, it's already finished. The fangs are back in. The venom is in you. It was called the death adder for a reason. Not because it kills most of its victims, although it used to, but because of the quiet finality of the way it hunts. Unlike most venomous snakes that slither off when they sense humans, the death adder doesn't move at all. It relies on ambush, burying itself in the dirt and debris, leaving only its tail exposed, a worm-like lure that it twitches to attract prey. lizards, rodents, birds, or your hand reaching down into the wrong patch of brush. Its venom is highly neurotoxic. It shuts down the communication between nerves and muscles, leading to paralysis and, without rapid treatment, respiratory failure. You stop breathing. Just stop. And unless someone's there, unless help is near, that's it. There's a story told by a rural paramedic. A boy, 12, camping with his family. He was playing with sticks near a log. Said something bit him. His parents didn't see anything. He was quiet at dinner. Fell asleep early. Never woke up. Antivenom exists. But with the death adder, time isn't generous. The damage begins within minutes. It's a quiet killer, short, thick-bodied, and eerily still. And perhaps most dangerous of all, it looks friendly. A tourist once picked one up thinking it was a harmless python. It didn't strike right away. It waited, just like it always does. Some predators chase, some warning. But the death adder? It waits in your path, hidden in plain sight. Not aggressive, not afraid, just patient. And if you're close enough to notice its strange beauty, you're already too close. You hear it before you see it. A rustle in the grass, a shift in the reeds, a whisper of scales brushing against stone. You freeze. The air feels heavier, thicker. You're near water, a creek, maybe a swamp, and it's watching you from the edge. The tiger snake, named for the bold bands across its body. Black and gold, olive and yellow, sometimes faint, sometimes striking. Like nature carved a warning into its skin. It doesn't need camouflage. It doesn't slither off at the first sound. The tiger snake holds its ground, rears up, flattens its neck like a cobra, eyes locked on yours. Not curious, not afraid, testing. The venom is a cocktail of terror. Neurotoxins, coagulants, and myotoxins. It shuts down the nervous system, clots the blood, and destroys muscle tissue all at once. The bite is often painless. But then your limbs go numb. You begin to drool. You struggle to breathe. Without antivenom, death can come in under half an hour. They are common in southern Australia, Victoria, Tasmania, parts of South Australia, and they aren't shy. They prowl wetlands, grasslands, and even suburban fringes. Garbage piles, barns, lakeside docks, places where rodents thrive, places where humans wander without thinking. There's a case still whispered about in the paramedic circles, a woman in her 30s, bitten while cleaning out a chicken coop. She never saw it, just felt something sharp, like a thorn, on her ankle. She was conscious and talking for 10 minutes, laughing even. Then she collapsed. By the time the chopper arrived, she was gone. The tiger snake is aggressive only when provoked. But the definition of provoked is flexible when you're a territorial apex predator. Step too close, corner it, reach where you shouldn't, and it doesn't give you a second chance. They say the bands are nature's warning, a visible threat, a chance to walk away. But when the sun is low and the reeds are high, those bands disappear into shadow. Then all you see is a shimmer of movement. And by then, the tiger has already decided what kind of story you'll become. This one doesn't hide. It doesn't curl beneath logs or vanish into the reeds. The coastal taipan moves like something with purpose, like it knows the world makes space for it. And when it doesn't, it takes it. It's tall, lean, and alert. Eyes sharp, body tense, every muscle coiled in the precision of a natural killer. There's no drama, no theatrics, just pure efficiency. Because it doesn't need to look deadly. It is. Its venom is among the most toxic of any land snake on Earth. A single bite contains enough neurotoxins to kill several adult humans. But unlike the inland taipan, its rarer, shyer cousin, this one lives where people do. Near sugarcane fields, around farms, along the humid coastal edges of Queensland and the Northern Territory. And it is fast, blindingly fast. It doesn't strike once. It strikes 3, 4, 5 times in rapid succession, pumping venom with each bite. Venom that causes paralysis, internal bleeding, respiratory failure. In some cases, the effects begin within minutes. You don't fall to the ground, you fold, like your body forgot it was supposed to stand. You remember the man we mentioned? He was a ranger, trained, experienced, cautious. He stepped into a clearing to check a burrow. The taipan was already there. It struck once, high on the calf. He called for help with a clear voice, gave GPS coordinates. He sounded fine. 15 minutes later, he wasn't breathing. There's a photo of the bite site. 2 small punctures. No swelling, no redness, just skin. You'd never know what was happening beneath it. A full biological shutdown, quiet and surgical. The coastal taipan doesn't bluff. It doesn't stand tall and flare its hood like the cobras of folklore. It stays low, streamlined. A predator evolved not to scare, but to finish. People often think danger comes with noise, with spectacle. But the taipan teaches a quieter lesson. The deadliest things are often the most efficient, the most invisible. And if you see one in the wild, not a flash, but the whole body, watching you, that means one thing: you're in its path, and it doesn't turn. This one doesn't creep. It appears. Open the shed, step into the backyard, pull back the tarp, and suddenly, it's there, coiled like a question you weren't prepared to answer. The eastern brown snake, slender, silent, unapologetically fast. Its body doesn't ripple with muscle like a python or shimmer with warning colors like a tiger. It looks plain, boring even. Just another brown snake under the sun. But this one kills more Australians than any other snake, year after year. Not because it wants to, because it can, because it's everywhere. From suburban gardens to dry bushland, from open fields to construction sites, the eastern brown has adapted to human expansion like it was part of the plan. And it doesn't just live among us, it thrives. Its venom is one of the most potent of any land snake, loaded with neurotoxins and procoagulants. A bite can cause cardiac arrest, convulsions, organ failure, all before you even know you've been bitten. Some don't even feel the fangs, just the collapse. And it's not shy. The eastern brown is infamously aggressive when threatened, and its definition of threat is razor thin. A sudden movement, a boot step too close, a shift in shadow. It rears up like a cobra, mouth open, and launches. Not one strike, multiple, rapid, pinpoint. A teenager was bitten on his family's property outside Adelaide, simply walking through long grass. He made it 200 meters before he dropped. His father found him curled, eyes wide, breathing shallow. He lived, barely. Weeks of dialysis, a tube down his throat, and scars that didn't show on his skin. And yet, many people still mistake it for something else. The color varies: tan, dark brown, almost orange. Its size ranges. Its posture looks tame, until it's not. What makes the eastern brown snake so terrifying isn't just its venom or speed. It's the proximity. You don't need to trek into the outback or camp near rocky creeks. You just need to take out the garbage, or reach into a storage bin, or leave the screen door open an inch too long. You won't see it coming, not until it's already deciding whether you're something to fear or something to end. You won't see it. You could walk through the heart of its territory, dry, cracked earth, sun-baked ridges in the far western corners of Queensland and South Australia, and never know it was there. The inland taipan doesn't strike at hikers or sunbathe near sheds. It doesn't wander into cities or surprise people in their kitchens. It doesn't need to, because it is already the deadliest snake on Earth. Its venom is so potent, so chemically precise, that one drop could kill dozens of adult humans. A single bite, fully delivered, could end you in under an hour, possibly within 30 minutes, even with anti-venom. But it doesn't bite people often. That's the twist. The fierce snake, as it's nicknamed, is almost gentle by comparison to the chaos of the eastern brown or the fury of the coastal taipan. It's shy, reclusive. It avoids conflict. And yet, it's the one you least want to provoke. There was one case, a professional herpetologist handling the inland taipan in a controlled setting. Full gear, full precautions. Still, the snake struck. Once. The man collapsed within moments. Paralysis set in like a curtain drop. He survived, only because the hospital was 5 minutes away. The venom is a masterpiece of nature's chemistry. Neurotoxins that shut down the brain's connection to your muscles. Myotoxins that disintegrate tissue. Procoagulants that make your blood clot into sludge. Cardiotoxins to ensure your heart doesn't get to argue. And the snake itself? Beautiful. Smooth-scaled, often dark olive or brown. Its colors shift with the seasons. Lighter in summer, darker in winter. It blends into the desert stone. It moves with a grace that feels almost out of place in this harsh, blistered land. But here's what haunts the most. It doesn't have to be aggressive to be terrifying. The inland taipan kills not through violence, but through purity. It is nature, distilled into lethal precision. No wasted motion, no theatrics. Just one perfect strike. And the body, for all its design, has no answer. People say, well, at least it doesn't live near us. For now. But danger isn't always where you expect it. And sometimes, the thing you never see, the one that doesn't chase, doesn't hiss, doesn't threaten, is the one that holds the most power. All it takes is one mistake, and you never get another. So now you've seen them, 10 of Australia's most dangerous snakes. Some are silent, some are bold, some are right outside your door. They don't roar, they don't chase, they don't need to. Each of them represents something ancient. A predator honed over millions of years, not just to survive, but to win. Every strike they deliver is final. Every encounter is a coin flip between life and myth. And here's the truth. It's not just about venom. It's about how close they live to us, how well they disappear, how little warning they give. Australia isn't just home to the most venomous snakes on Earth. It's home to the ones that wait. So the next time you step off the trail, reach into a boot, or walk across the floor in bare feet, ask yourself, would you know the danger before it moved, or would it already be too late?